Good morning, Lenny Morgan Coaching, Lenny Morgan Functional Medicine. I'm still kind of figuring out what I guess my overall brand name is my name, Lenny Morgan. So, welcome back. Today I'm going to talk about yesterday versus today. Yesterday I woke up a little after 5 a.m., so it's summertime right now, so the sun's coming up at 5 and we have a new puppy and he's a big dog already. He's over 50 pounds, but he's all solid muscle, so it feels like 100 pounds when he's bouncing on us in the morning, waking up my wife and I. So yesterday I woke up, I felt refreshed. I just hit the ground running. I did all kinds of stuff, and it was great. And just didn't think twice about, oh, every day is going to be great. And of course, every day has ups and downs. So some days are going to be more full of energy than others. I have a lot more good days than not so good days now that I am about 60 days into 60, or I have to look, March, April, May. Yeah, 60 days into my nutritional cycle on resetting my rhythm. It's not just the nutrition, it's also the lifestyle. And stick with me. And I give away a lot of free tips. So it takes a lot of work, but you could do this without what I'm doing if you're going to go without supplements and without paying for the coaching or the whole process and the testing, which is okay. I started there long, long ago and got as far as I could, and then hired coaches and professionals to take me the rest of the way when I couldn't get any further on my own. So anyway, so yesterday I woke up great, feeling awesome. Today I wanted to go back to bed. And I even tried, and the dog wouldn't let me, and my wife was awake and talking to me, and I chose instead to be rude or climb back under the covers to engage with her in conversation. We don't get a lot of time to talk because she works throughout the day, and then I'm in my office, and then at the end of the day we're both kind of like blah, 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 as we're winding down. So I chose to visit with her and be pleasant and happy, and I'm a lot more awake now. And really, what I wanted to talk about was, so yesterday in my coach training with my trainers, we revisited what is called heart math. You can look it up, heart math, probably heartmath.com. It comes with when we put together our treatment packages. It usually comes with most of them. After supplements, it's the most important concept. And what it is, there's a whole bunch of medical to it, a whole bunch of science to it. So you could go really, really deep down the rabbit hole and all these scientific published studies and this and that. The short answer is it's a guided meditation, but it's more than that. It's if you could connect meditation with mindset, with how we can start to get our heart, brain, and gut working for us, which if you follow anybody like Joe Dispenza, for example, he's fantastic at talking about this. We have a lot more control over our autonomic system, or what did they used to call it? There was the one that we can focus on, and then the one that we thought was the automatic system, and we had no control over that. Way back, that's what we thought in Western education, and couldn't be further from the truth. Eastern philosophy is known for thousands of years that you can control even as much as your heartbeat and all kinds of stuff. So what the heart math does is it combines it doesn't get too heady into the Eastern stuff, but it connects peripherally, or just because they're all connected to the meditation side of the Eastern culture. But it's really westernized technology, easy. The point is, what does it do? It gets us to this like Zen state where our heart, our literal heart, not like the philosophical spiritual heart, our physical heart, our brain, and our gut are all in sync. And what we're learning now is that we used to think our brain was the center of all the just how everything works in the body, and we're learning that's not actually totally true. The heart actually sends more signals, like electrical and chemical signals, to the brain than the brain sends to the heart. And same is true of the gut. The gut actually sends more signals up to the brain, not just in the form of nutrition, but actual chemical messengers and electrical messages from the gut to the brain, then the brain sends back down to the gut. So we're learning now that, well, if my heart actually physically has significant control over how I feel and my physical well-being, and so does my gut, a little bit more so than my brain, how can I get them all working together for my benefit? Because we have a pretty good control over our brain, most of us. And what I mean is that's where our thought process is. We can start with our intellectual side, and through that is how we can connect to the heart and to the gut emotionally, not emotionally, but physically as well. So, and in a nutshell, heart math, you can go deep onto their website and learn about how, but it does all that in a very, very, very short amount of time. So you can do these little micro bursts of guided meditation, and then they teach you how to do it without the app and without the hardware. There's a little piece of hardware so you can instantly see, how is my heart doing, heartbeat and different measurements of the heart. How is it doing in this moment while I'm focusing on whatever the exercise is? So it's really, really cool piece of equipment. So back to how I got off on that tangent. Yesterday we went deep into it, and I had in my last 60 days not really spent a lot of time in heart math. When I jumped on, if you can get to a 3 or better coherence, that is excellent. My average is, like, right from the beginning was a 2, and I was hitting 3s on day 1. And today I hit 4s, almost hit 5. I think I hit 4.9 today. So I didn't give it a lot of thought because I was thinking, well, I've done an enormous amount of personal development and mindset work and self-guided meditation. I'm not like a guru with meditation, but I really have taken a good hold on how I feel, how I think, how I stay in a positive emotion and positive energy. And I have a good grasp on that, really good grasp. And I can bounce back a lot quicker than I used to in the days before I had all that practice in. So I was thinking 60 days ago, well, maybe I don't need this heart math. I do tapping and I have all this extensive experience, and maybe it's good for somebody who has no experience. So I kind of just set it aside. Yesterday, we went into more heavy science and studies and like actual studies with thousands of people and control groups and the whole scientific stuff. And the short answer is there's just too much scientific evidence for me to just say, oh, it doesn't work. So I'm committed to giving it a good 30-day try. I'm going to be doing it in the morning and in the evening. I know that there might be a day or two I'm not perfect, but I put it in my calendar. It's my intention to do it every morning. Yes, I did do it today, and then it's my intention to do it at night when I wind down. So I have the 30 minutes in the morning where I do my morning routine to get going, and 30 minutes in the evening. That is 30-30. Check that out. That'll be on my website and on my videos, or just message me if you want to know more about it, and I can share that with you. So I got off track. So I've recommitted to the 30-30. Going to give it 30 days of the heart math. And yesterday was feeling great. Today, not as great. And what I noticed today was I was all of a sudden having things asked of me from the second I woke up. The dogs were like, they wanted to be fed before I was barely out of bed. My wife needed me to do some things for her because she ran out the door really quickly and needed me to take care of some things, charging different devices and such, put things away, etc. And I was starting to choose into this emotion of overwhelm and upset and like, oh, I'm just tired. I want to take care of myself or go back to sleep or leave me alone. And I realized, okay, stop. That's a choice. Let me go try this heart math and see if that calms me down. They say it does. And so I did it, and it didn't make me feel worse. I didn't really feel any better in the moment. And then I switched to my spiritual music that I listen to help me center and get a real just center for, I can't think of a better word. And so listen to that and just continue to just breathe and be calm and allow myself to go slow. And I would just do the tasks that were asked of me or that I was choosing to do, and I would just allow myself to go slower. And so here it is. It's almost 3 hours since I've been up. I have done far less today in these last 3 hours than I did yesterday in the first 3 hours of the day. I did more before 8 a.m. than I've done many days entirely before this program. So I chose to slow down. And although in the mornings, my particular reading, this goes contrary to most of the world's idea of what cortisol is supposed to do. Most of the world thinks, oh, cortisol is bad. You should never have it. Always get rid of it. Yes and no. It really depends. It's a rhythm. At certain times of the day, actually, cortisol is very useful. We're supposed to have actually a pretty good chunk of cortisol when we wake up. It's kind of like there's a metaphor of how many spoons do you have. My daughter taught me this. You could look up. It's how many spoons you have, and the spoons is like your reserves of energy, and you wake up with a certain amount of spoons, and when you run out of spoons, you can't borrow, you can't buy, you can't get more. You have to sleep to get more. You must rest and reset. That's the only way to get more. And it goes on, and it's basically like your energy reserves. But another way to look at it might be your cortisol, which is what is basically our spoons. It helps us to deal with stressors. And we should have a good amount in the day, like a storage or a store supply of spoons. And we use that cortisol throughout the day, and it lowers and lowers until at night it's really low. Mine's 2 months ago, mine was completely opposite. I started out in the morning completely tanked, was like almost zero, not quite zero, but practically zero. Not enough in the middle of the day, and then at night, this is the night owl syndrome. It would all of a sudden, boom, at 8 o'clock, I would be alert and awake and have all this energy, and it would be hard to sleep. And I'm happy to say that the supplements have helped, but really my lifestyle, which I teach in my programs, has helped me turn that around. But I keep getting off track. So I was talking about, I don't even know what I was talking about. I've gotten so off track. Anyway, let me get to what my note was. The note that I was going to start talking about here, now that we're 12 minutes in, 20 seconds, was I was thinking of this Katniss Everdeen character from the Catching Fire series. Great series. Of course, copyright notice. I didn't write the books. I can't even think of her name. That's okay. Someone will say, oh, it's so-and-so in the comments. Great. I don't care. I could look it up on Google. That's not my point. The point is, this particular character, I relate very well to this character. Um, she is this driven, fierce, sort of a warrior type character, but she's not warrior for the sake of she wants to go out and prove herself to the world. There's a tiny little bit about that, but mostly she wants to defend her loved ones. And she has skills that she is able to step in front of the danger and protect her loved ones, her mother and her sister. Um, and so she has that skill set, and she jumps into, but it's out of a sense of duty and protection of her family, not out of I'm going to be this wonderful person, look at me, haha. And so I relate very well to that character because I come from that place. I I want to protect my family and my friends and provide for them. And it's not about look at me, I'm so great. There used to be a little bit of component about that, and I've coached through that. And so now I've realized I don't need to be on this pedestal looked at as, oh, you're so great. I'm okay. I am great, and I know that, and I don't have to continually seek that out of others. But for this Katniss Everdeen, where I was getting to was not how she started, but how she ended. And I don't think they touch a lot of it in the movie. It's in the prologue of the book. So you could probably, of the last book. So if it's not, I haven't watched the last movie in a while. I'll have to go rewatch it now. But in the book, she talks about how in the beginning, she thought that she needed that fiery personality. Like that very first guy, if you watch the movie, she's about to shoot a deer, and her friend of hers comes into the woods and scares the deer off, and she's very mad at him. They go deeper into the relationship in the book. I listened to it on audio. It's fabulous. And they're both very fiery, angry, gonna just would love to just either run away from this bizarre, unrighteous world or just go fight it head on. And so they're both very much the same in that regard. At the end, she realizes that she didn't need that in her partner. She needed the opposite. She needed the calming. That's where Peta was. Peta was the opposite. He's this forgiving, unconditionally forgiving, loving, calming presence in her life. And she realizes at the very end in the prologue that that's actually what she needed, was this calming influence, not this fiery influence of her friend that just got her fired up even more. And so my point was, this morning I had a choice. I could just dig right in and just get fired up and get into the anger and the whatever, and I'm fine, I'm going to go get this stuff done, and I'm being asked to do these things, and there's this mess I got to clean up, blah, 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 blah. I could have chosen into that. And that doesn't sound great. And although I'm trying to increase my cortisol in the morning, and that would increase stress, which theoretically would increase cortisol, it actually, in the long run, doesn't help to do it that way. So I chose, well, let me try this heart math meditation, which probably did something, but I didn't notice anything in the moment. Although I did notice my numbers started up a lot lower. They got higher towards the end of my little meditation section, so I must have actually been tuning in the longer I did it. So that's actually probably what it did for me, is help me center. And then I listened to my spiritual music. That helped me center. And then I'm feeling great. And so here I am. Actually, this is one of my biggest things. I have been putting off doing my daily social media content for lots of different reasons. But procrastination is the real reason, which is not a reason I want to embrace, or a quality that I like. So I've decided I'm going to do this first, almost first every day. There's some things I've got to take care of first, like the dogs, or they will never leave me alone. I've got to feed them, take care of a few other things. But the first thing when I sit down at my desk and before I start my day, my work day, this is going to be the first thing I do, so that I have some content every day that I can start putting out there every day. It's my goal to do that every day. And then within 5 to 6 months is usually the magic time. If I'm doing it consistently, that's when I'm going to be rewarded by Google and social media with lots of traffic coming back to me through my content. But I've got to lay the seeds first and work the ground. I've got to plant before I can harvest. So today was about Katniss Everdeen and me and how I relate. And sometimes it's about the fire, and that's important. But if you're having trouble with getting fired up, or getting fired up really just burns all your energy, which it probably does for many of us, think of a different approach. What if we balanced it with meditation? There's lots of ways to meditate. There's the tapping solution is free. Look it up on your phone or device. It's free. Download it. Fabulous. I've used it for years. It's really good. I've gotten so much negative garbage out of my body. I can't even tell you how much I've gotten out of my body with that. It's just been unbelievably helpful that I've used that. Heart Math, you can get online, you can buy it. You can get the subscription, and then you can use your phone instead of there's a little device that you clip onto your ear if you want to buy it. It doesn't hurt. It just clips on, kind of like the little readers that they put on your finger at the hospital to read your oxygen. This one reads your heart rate. But they also have it where you can put your finger on the back of the camera and it'll read your heart rate through the camera somehow. But then you pay the subscription fee for that. But if you do it through my program, you get a lifetime membership to the Heart Math for life and the device. It's all included in the package. So however you go forward, if fire is not serving you, try the calm. Try the kind of the Eastern philosophy of just calm and zen and being the cool, like the lake of the, I don't know even where to go here. I'm going to Kung Fu Panda here. Just great movie. Lots of really good stuff. Anyway, this is Lenny Morgan Coaching, Lenny Morgan Functional Medicine, signing off. Have a wonderful day, and I look forward to seeing you in my future videos. If you want to reach me, my current email is not working. So I'm going to, sure, I'll give out my personal email. If it's junk, I just throw it out anyway. LennyMorgan@gmail.com. It's been around for 25 years, so it's not like I'm giving it to the world to a hidden email. It's out there, easy to find online. So if you want to visit me, that's usually the best way to get a hold of me. You can also text me at 720-507-7020. Soon I'm going to have my website working. It's still a work in progress, and I'll let you know very soon as that gets up to date. All right, have a great day.